session for anyone who can't make it. Thank you so much for taking the time to join the information session today. My name is Natasha. I'm a senior program coordinator with the Ocean Startup Project. Today, I'll provide a bit of, like I mentioned, a bit of an overview about the competition, offer some insight on how you can be successful, and then we'll wrap things up with a Q&A at the end. So just get everything situated here. Perfect. Okay, so before I dive into details about the competition, I just wanted to give everyone an overview of the Ocean Startup Project. We are a national project focused on kind of making Canada the best place to start and grow an ocean company. Together with our partners, the Ocean Startup Project is accelerating how homegrown startups get their technologies to market, and as well as attracting international companies to Canada's shores. We focus on inspiring people to consider ocean opportunities, initiating new ocean companies by providing resources and guidance, and investing in high potential ventures by connecting them with the programs and funds that can help fuel their growth. As you can see here, we have some great partners right across the country, and we're also supported by the Ocean Supercluster and COA. So the Ocean Idea Challenge is a market validation competition that will bring together people from a variety of different backgrounds to validate business ideas that aim to make our ocean sectors more sustainable. What this really means is that if you have an idea that could reduce environmental impact on our oceans, use ocean resources in a more effective way or environmentally friendly way, we really want to support you. Ideas could look like products or services that support ocean sectors such as renewable ocean energy, sustainable fishing and aquaculture, decarbonized shipping and marine transportation, marine bioresources in the circular economy, or really kind of any ocean sector that you identify as in need of an innovative solution for a sustainability problem. So who we're really looking for is quite broad. It's really this competition is designed for anyone curious about sustainability, oceans, business, or innovation. If you have an idea on the back of a napkin, as they say, or if you're interested in solving sustainability issues but don't know really where to start, this competition is really designed for you. So if you're a student, a mid-career professional, a researcher, a developer or technical talent, all of those skills and experiences are really valuable in a competition like this. Just a quick note on kind of the ineligibility or who we're not looking for. If you're a company who has a product in market or are generating revenue, this competition is not for you. Additionally, if you're based outside of Canada, you'll need to find a team to join with that has Canadian participants to be eligible. And finally, past winners of Ocean Startup Project competitions like the Ocean Startup Challenge are also not eligible to participate in this competition. In terms of the structure of the competition itself, how this competition works is you sign up as an individual or team. I'll share a link to the application as well later on. You attend a kickoff session on April 26th, where you'll have the opportunity to meet fellow participants. And for those who are interested, pitch your idea to prospective team members. So we'll have short 60-second pitches, opportunities for you to pitch yourself or the skill sets you're looking for to join your team. And really, I want to highlight that this challenge is designed to encourage collaboration. So it's highly recommended you find or recruit a team to participate with. From there, you and your team will work to identify or explore a sustainability problem and establish an action plan. And really what this looks like is kind of identifying who will do what, who's going to reach out to customers and interview customers for the customer discovery sprint. So during the customer discovery sprint, it will be 3 weeks, and you'll be expected to interview stakeholders in the industry and prospective customers to gain a better insight into the problem you want to solve and explore market interest for the solution you're proposing. So really, this is a time for you to kind of get in the trenches and learn about the problems experienced by customers and begin to validate whether your solution is a good fit for the problem. Once you've gone through the customer discovery sprint, we'll ask you to submit a short video detailing the problem you have identified, the results of your customer discovery interviews, and a little bit about the team and your idea as well. We really structured this competition to try to limit how much time people need to participate live. So we thought the video submissions was a good way to structure it versus kind of doing a live pitch as an option. So we'll get into a little bit of wanted to just dive a little bit deeper in kind of the initial phases of the competition and how you can really get started. As mentioned, we'll host a kickoff session that will be on April 26th. We really do expect anyone who registers to participate in that event or that session. It really is important for kind of setting the playing field for how the competition will work, for meeting potential team members, and it is a really valuable session to help you kind of get started on the best path. We'll ask for you to confirm your team by April 29th, and so we'll have a bit of a form that you'll fill out to confirm who's participating on your team. And then you'll really get started. So you'll meet and discuss, like I said, an action plan with your team. Really here you want to look for kind of confirming who's going to be responsible for what, as I mentioned, and really kind of figure out what the action plan is. I want to mention that we'll also host a workshop in collaboration with Propel. So that is one of the only other live sessions that it will be recorded that we'll ask you to attend. And that session will focus really on how to do customer discovery properly, what market validation looks like, and really give you some tips and tricks on how to kind of ask the best questions when you do secure these customer discovery interviews. So just to kind of get a little bit deeper into the customer discovery sprint, this is kind of high level, what the process would look like. Essentially, you form your hypothesis and research customers as initial step, and you want to identify more customers than you intend to interview because typically you'll face some rejection, so you want to have a good prospect list, and it's always great to prepare a script for these interviews, and we'll get into all of this during the customer discovery session in early May. And then kind of you'll go right into conducting your outreach and scheduling interviews. And then you always want to summarize your insights and check assumptions. So it's always great to kind of, record your interviews if the people are comfortable with that, and transcribe the discussions with customers so that you can look for common themes. And this will take place over the course of 3 weeks, like I mentioned. And there'll be regular check-ins with the Ocean Startup Project team as well to make sure that things are going on the right path. So in terms of evaluation, what we're looking for really falls under 4 main buckets. So the team, market interest, problem identification, and the idea. You'll notice here that the team is weighted more heavily than the other criteria, and this is done on purpose. We are really looking for motivated, passionate, and driven teams that bring together diverse skills. And so we felt the team is one of the most important aspects to evaluate on. Followed by team, you'll have market interest, so really looking at how thorough the customer discovery was that you undertook. We've set a target of at least 25 customer discovery interviews. So making sure that you've kind of tried your best to hit that target. And really kind of looking at whether the customer discovery interviews indicates that the identified problem is important to stakeholders. Followed by that, we'll have problem identification. So this is really getting into, like, is the problem that you've identified significant? And demonstrates that the team has demonstrated that there's in-depth research into the ocean sector sustainability problem that you've identified. And then followed by problem identification, we have idea, which is actually weighted the least at this point, really, and that's done because we know that the idea might shift based on your customer discovery interviews and the insights you gain from those. So having an idea is great, but being flexible on kind of the direction that that idea takes is really great when you base it on customer and market interest and feedback. So just kind of to touch on some of the key dates that I've mentioned so far, the key dates coming up would be April 19th, which is when registration closes. So be sure to get your applications in by then. We'll host, like I said, the kickoff session on April 26th. Then we'll have the team confirmation deadline on the 29th, the customer discovery workshop with Propel on May 2nd. The sprint will take place from May 2nd to May 23rd with the video presentation submission deadline on May 23rd as well. And then we'll do some finalist presentations, and the winners will be announced on May 31st, sorry. And finally, before we get to the questions, I just wanted to shout out our partners for this challenge. They really help make this challenge what it is, and they'll be providing support through different programming and resources to help you kind of identify the problems that are in need of innovative solutions. So that I'll stop there and open it up to questions. I do see some comments in the chat. I'm not sure if the questions or not. Let's see here. But feel free, we're a relatively small group, so feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions as well.
Natasha,
Hi,
I just had a quick question. Can you talk a little more about the teams and partnerships, and maybe some suggestions on how to build some of those partnerships? I've been doing a lot of like idea creation, and I'm in another program, but I haven't been able to build out a team yet. So I'm not sure if I'm eligible or if it's something you have to develop as you're in this challenge.
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks, Stacy. So, the goal is for you to come together and meet people at this competition and hopefully form a team. I think the best thing to do is really put yourself out there and, have that elevator pitch of who you are, what you're focused on, what you're passionate about, maybe a little bit about your idea if you have one, or what your skill set or background is. And then kind of look to connect with others that complement those skill sets and interests. We will do some activities during the kickoff session. So you're more than welcome to register as an individual and then kind of build out your team as you go, and hopefully make those connections with potential or prospective team members and fellow participants at the kickoff session. So we'll do, like I mentioned, we'll do those 60-second pitches. So I'll circulate a sign-up form to everyone who registers. And you're welcome to pitch your idea and yourself. And then we'll do some facilitated networking activities with the hopes of kind of, meeting someone that you can connect with and potentially build a team around. But yeah, it can be a challenging thing, and that's a common theme that I've heard with the entrepreneurs that I've met with over the past few months is, they're very passionate about their idea, and they really want to build out a team because they see that as a big opportunity to move their idea forward. But it can be very challenging, and I think that's kind of a piece of the inspiration for this competition, is just to try to bring people together and help them connect over shared interests.
That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Hi, can I intervene?
Sure.
So basically, if I understand correctly, one can sign up as an individual, but also as a team?
Yeah, so essentially you can sign up as, you can sign up as an individual if you don't currently have a team. And then you'll just indicate that you're open to having either people join your team or you're interested in joining an established team. And then other people that may already have a team can sign up as a team. So it's the same form, you just kind of select, I'm applying as an individual or as a team, and then provide some details about your team. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it's, I'm trying to figure out what's all the process, because it's quite not clear again to me. I understand what you said in the presentation, but basically you have just 3 days to meet completely stranger and come up with an agreement on something?
Yeah, so it is a bit intense in terms of the timelines, and we've done that really on purpose. I guess the structure for this, if you've ever participated in a hackathon where you have a set amount of time to kind of come together with different participants and solve a problem or build something, that's kind of the inspiration, is drawing from the structure of a hackathon where you have a set amount of time to try to collaborate and work together to come up with a solution. That said, you know, there are opportunities leading up to it where you know, I'm going to pull together, and we're going to host an online community. So we'll invite everyone to a Slack channel. You can pitch yourself or your idea or your company or your concept, I mean, and start to build those connections early. But yes, the goal is to really kind of bring everyone together and with the end goal of kind of having some team formation happen. I don't want to say on the spot, but in a relatively short period of time.
Okay, and then so let's say I form a team and then we win. So we win, like, I understand, $10,000, and so that goes to the team or to what? I mean,
Yeah,
that does mean that we need to form a startup.
I can speak to that
It's
a little
not
bit.
clear.
Yeah. Yeah, so the award dollars will need to go towards moving the idea forward, and so the idea is that you will be kind of encouraged to seek some advice, some legal advice on how to best structure a partnership agreement or kind of an agreement with your team. And so the dollars are based on kind of reimbursement for expenses, eligible expenses. So essentially what you would do is you'd come up with a kind of a plan with your team on how the funding would be used to further develop the idea. And then you would submit expenses or receipts based on kind of those eligible expenses. But essentially it's not necessarily like a prize that you just get to take and split up and do whatever you want with. The funding is designed to further the idea and continue with the hope that a business is created at the end of it.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We do have some hands up as well.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see where that was done down here. Sometimes it
That's
tells
okay.
you to flag it. Right. Okay. So I have, I'm building my own team at the moment. We're quite well advanced. But they're not, two of them are in Canada and the others are all over the world. Is that okay?
Yeah, so we just ask that any international participants are working with a team that has Canadian participants as well.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
I think we'll go to Lisa and then Yadel, if I said that correctly. Sorry if I didn't. And then Daryl.
I have two questions actually. One is building off the team idea. What if I kind of have a team, but we are looking to expand because we identified there's some gaps in skill sets? Then how would we register?
Yeah, so you would just register as a team, and then there's a question I think in there that says you're open to having others join your team, and then perhaps you could register for one of the 60-second pitch slots to pitch kind of the skill sets that you're looking for to join your team. That would be kind of my best recommendation on how to go about that.
And how would the IP issue would solve around that if I already have some existing IP, but then looking for additional teammates to help develop that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. And we really encourage you to seek kind of your own legal advice on how to structure that agreement and really kind of come to an understanding as early as possible with your existing team and any new team members that join on how that will be approached. Essentially, any legal advice I think would be the best path forward.
Yeah, and last question is on the customer discovery section. What if I previously done customer discovery? Can that count towards the 25?
The expectation is for teams to conduct the customer discovery during the competition. Customer discovery is an ongoing process. So if you do have existing industry connections, that might help you kind of expedite the customer discovery process during the sprint. But the expectation is that you're reaching out to new potential customers and stakeholders during the competition period. I think we'll go to Yudel.
Hi, Natasha.
Hi.
I'm not from Canada. So far, I got nobody that is from Canada to be part of my team. Do I still can participate on the challenge? And also, the money that, let's say, for example, if I win, can I use that money to push forward SBIR, which is a grant for the federal government, so that I want to apply to NOAA. And also my development or my idea is to give services all around the world. So that's going to be okay. Thank you.
Thanks for the great questions. So I think for this competition, you will need Canadian participants as part of your team. So I would encourage you to sign up and register and then join the kickoff session on the 26th and pitch what you're working on and pitch the skill sets that you would like to have join your team. I think there will be a significant portion of Canadian participants participating in this competition. So absolutely, if you want to kind of go through the process and join the welcome session, from there we can kind of work with you to try to kind of find a participant that would want to join your team. But essentially the key criteria there is that you do have a Canadian participant on your team as well. In terms of your SBIR question, I would have to take that back with me and look into it. I'm not 100% sure on that one, so leave that with me. I'll put my email in the chat. If you could reach out to me by email, that would be wonderful. And then I will look into that further for you, so that I just can't commit to an answer today because I'm not too sure how our funding would work with that.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect, thanks. We'll go to Daryl and then Filippo, if I said that correctly.
Hey, Natasha. So
Hey,
great
Daryl.
speaking with you again.
Good to see you.
First off, I want to thank you and your organization for putting forth this opportunity to all of us. It's something that I was kind of hesitant to apply for the other challenges, so this actually works perfectly. First of all, I have two questions. I think one question was already asked by another individual in regards to the team size limits. So I'll let you answer that for everyone. And the second was, let's say, for example, our team does win the funding. Is that the end of the interaction between our teams and your organization, or would you guys kind of help us prepare to push forward to the other challenges that are currently available to all of us? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this. I'm so glad you answered those or asked those questions, Daryl. Really helpful for me. So yes, there is a recommended limit on teams. We suggest 2 to 4 team members as a max, but if you would like to have more people a part of your team, just reach out to me ahead of time and then we'll go from there. So that's kind of the recommended limit on teams is 4 most, because we are really focused on the earliest stages, and I think that's kind of where we've seen it to be a good spot for team limits. And then in terms of kind of supporting as you move forward, supporting the winners and really anyone who participates in this challenge, absolutely. So one thing I forgot to mention that I would really like to highlight now is team winners of this challenge, the IDEA challenge, will be in a really strong position, a lot because of the nature of the competition and the exercise of going through customer discovery, but also just because you'll have your story a little bit more thought out, and you'll be able to present your your business a little bit more succinctly, I think, based on kind of the structure of the competition. So those winners will be in a really strong position to participate in our Ocean Startup Challenge, which I'm excited to say is coming back for our third year this year. Likely later on in the year after this challenge wraps up, we'll go into another one. So if anyone's unfamiliar with the Ocean Startup Challenge, it's a competition we've hosted for the past 2 years that helps people with at the early stage develop their technology and with the goal of kind of achieving proven market interest. So this competition really gets you into the practice of doing customer discovery, beginning that market validation process, and the bigger Ocean Startup Challenge will help kind of move you forward to the next stage. Details are still unconfirmed yet, so I can't say too much about what that challenge looked like, but absolutely, Daryl, winners of this competition will be in a very strong position, and we'll continue to work with them over the course of the next few months.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Natasha.
No problem. Thank you. Filippo, over to you.
Hi, yeah, and just want to know, I have a quick clarification on the eligibility.
Sure.
You said you need to be a Canadian for like, I don't know, be head of the team or something like that. Is just citizens, or like, for example, also permanent resident, or who's actually, I mean, whoever is physically present in Canada, or what?
Yeah, we're looking for people who are based in Canada. So that might not necessarily mean a Canadian citizen, but someone who lives and works in Canada is what we're looking for here.
Okay, thanks.
Any additional questions, or anyone want to pitch what they're working on or who they're looking for to join their team?
I would like to share.
Sure.
Can I share my screen?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
We'll ask you just to keep it brief because I do see some few other hands up.
Okay, that is a red mangrove. I have 144 of them in that state that they already having the branches and also have the roots throughout. That is not on the beach. That is on a city that I have in Guaynabo municipal. So my idea is to develop the mangrove onshore and then take it to the shore so I can limit the sand erosion that come by, and then foment the ecosystem and then make channels so I can put a turbine to make energy. And the other thing I cannot share so far, but that's what I'm pitching about. Thank you. Great, thank you. What skill sets are you looking to have join your team? Well, first of all, I need a Canadian so I can participate. It's gonna be even got knowledge on computer or process data. That will be good and okay. And then for the day we can go from there forwards. No problem with me. I'm a jack of all trades, so I manage. Perfect. Thank you so much for the exposure. Thank you. You're welcome. Alistair, I see your hand up. Did you want to?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. I was trying to do the clever screen share thing, but as you'll have seen, I'm technologically challenged. Basically, I've devised a way of retrofitting sails to the world's merchant fleet by mounting them around the hull at fixed mounting points. And the fixed mounting points are interconnected by rails so that you can wheel them out of the way around away from the dockside, so you have unencumbered access to normal dockside operations. So wind tunnel testing and routing analysis have shown that my rig can save 4 to 8% depending on the routes, but the mounting is most important because it can house every other form of wind assist device, every other class of wind assist device. So it offers itself as a standardized modular way of mounting wind assist devices or sails to the world's merchant fleet to reduce carbon consumption, reduce fossil fuel use.
Awesome. And what kind of skill sets are you looking to have join your team if you're looking?
Well, I have a naval architect, and I have a former guy from Lloyd's Canada who knows everybody in the business and is reaching out to get us our first prototype or letter of intent. Then I have a couple of finance guys who I've known for a very long time. I was at school with them. So that's who I have. I think whether I'd find anyone else is a question of who else is in the group, really, I guess, and who else might be interested in this. My experience is that nobody much knows about it or understands about it. But there you go. Customer discovery has been a painful experience.
Well, hopefully this competition will make it a bit easier.
Well, it's getting easier as every day passes, at least in my mind, but I have to keep going somehow.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much, Alistair.
Okay.
Do we have anyone else that, okay, I see some hands. So Stacy, wanna pitch yourself next?
Sure. Just because I am looking for team members. The work I'd like to do and my innovation idea is in the area of plastics. I'm looking to design or engineer microbes to biologically recycle and degrade plastic down to different components. So I'm a scientist and I'm looking for other scientists, but mainly chemists and potentially like biological engineers, people that have experience with bioengineering. And yeah, and of course, I don't have anybody on the business side of things either. So yeah, but just if anybody else is interested in that, please feel free to reach out.
Great, thank you so much. I see Lisa's hand up. Feel free to unmute.
My idea is to develop a platform to help tackle ghost fishing gear. So ghost gear are abandoned, lost, or discarded fishing gear that end up in the ocean. Approximately 640,000 tons of them enter the ocean each year, and they fish indiscriminately, killing endangered and commercial species. So I'm hoping to develop a platform that connects different stakeholders in the ecosystem to help with better management, removal, and mitigation of ghost gear. So for me, I'm looking for people in the tech side and perhaps someone from the business side as well.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Lisa. Is there anyone else that wanted to pitch themselves or their idea? No, any other questions? Happy to. Oh, I do see a hand from Sarah. Feel free to unmute, Sarah.
Hi. Yeah, so there's a couple of members of our team in here. We're with a group called Meridian out of Dalhousie University, and this was recommended as a venue that we might take the idea of using machine learning algorithms on satellite imagery to detect cyanobacteria, which is a harmful algae that kills a lot of animals and can affect humans from space.
Okay.
I don't really know. I mean, we're definitely lacking anything on the business side, but I feel like we're at a stage where it's hard to define what skills we need beyond we know we can make the code and know where to get the data, but we don't really have clients yet or a concept of how we're going to turn this into like a sustainable method of buying the data we need to get the analysis to sell it to people.
Right. So it sounds like someone who can who understands business models and the business side might be beneficial as well. Thanks so much for that, Sarah. And feel free to exchange information in the chat in terms of contact information if you're looking to reach out, or I think you might be able to direct message some people, but not too sure there. Thanks for that. That was great. Any other kind of we still have lots of time if anyone else wants to unmute and pitch their idea. Well, it was so great to meet everyone, and thanks so much for joining the information session. If you have any questions after this session, you can feel free to reach out to me. My email is in the chat, I believe. I'm always available to answer questions or book a one-on-one session to work through some of the questions that you might have. And with that, I think we'll leave it there. And thank you again for joining. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I'll stick around for a few minutes just to keep the information in the chat open so that you can grab any emails or contact information that's being exchanged.